Good morning, everybody here in Knesset Israel, Annapolis. It's great to see everybody, and a Chodesh Tov of Adar that should bring the Jewish people in the state of Israel lots of good tidings from all around. Today, I want to speak about a dentist, Dr. Harold Ribico, that taught me about having the proper perspective when visiting or considering living in our holy land of Israel. And it's a good time of the year to be talking about Dr. Harold Ribico because I met him around this time of the year. Now, I have to start with that the first time I went to visit Israel, my Americanism kept popping up because I'm very American. My father came to this country when he was 16 from Slonim, but if you met my father, he was extremely American. He reveled in American things, really, really enjoyed it, and that's how I was brought up. And I have a number of relatives that served in the various wars, a very patriotic family. So when I came to Israel, which is affected, it's a polyglot of so many different cultures and ideas, so a lot of different things were hard for me to get used to. Some things I couldn't get used to at all. I just kept comparing everything. And some rough things happened to me that really want to give me a negative view of Israel. I lost my glasses in the Jordan River, and I mentioned last time, I can't see much without them. And I lost my glasses, I lost my foot gear, and I had a gout attack without medication in Israel, and this is where Dr. Ribico comes in. It was a snowy day in Baltimore, school was closed, you couldn't get out of house to the regular minyan because you had to deal with your car and digging out your sidewalk. So I wound up at Suburban Orthodox Synagogue, very nice shul in Baltimore. They had a later minyan. So I wound up at Suburban Orthodox. And I rarely daven there, but I wound up there that day. So there were a number of people there. It was like a cholent. It was assorted people that wound up davening at minyanim they don't usually daven at, and we were there, and Dr. Ribico was there. Now, you have to understand, if you're a doctor or a dentist on a snowy day, you might not be that happy. We're bringing back some memories for you, Dr. Crimmins, because all your patients are canceling, and they cancel, reschedule, this and that, and you really want to tell them, are you sure you can't get in and reschedule? And you know what the policy is. If you cancel within 24 hours, it's enough to deal with the patients on a good day. So Dr. Ribico had a little bit of an ache thinking, what was he going to do with his dental patients? As it is, for some reason, I think more people are scared of dentists than regular doctors anyway. Whatever that reason is, they do a pretty good job with the Novocaine or lidocaine. These days it's lidocaine, right? No more Novocaine? Right? Okay. But whatever, people are scared of dentists. But he was saying, oh my God, people are going to cancel. What am I going to do? It's going to be a real headache. But anyway, so that's where I met Dr. Ribico, and we spoke a little bit, and I found out that he was a dentist, and some small talk. And he was a bear of a man. Big, big fellow. I described him, now I'm going to have to give two examples over here. If you're old enough to remember Fess Parker, who played Daniel Boone in the 60s, that doesn't help everybody. Okay, Dr. Ribico looked like Fess Parker with a mustache and a trim beard. Big, burly kind of fellow, and he was a dentist. He can work in small spaces in your mouth. If that doesn't help you, because you don't know who Fess Parker was, because nowadays you could just Google it, but that's not fair, he would have looked like a smaller linebacker from the Ravens. A smaller one. That kind of a person, but he wasn't going to tackle you, he was going to heal your mouth. He's that kind of a person. So anyway, so I met him that day. I didn't see him for a long time. And in the back of my head, I met this nice guy, Dr. Ribico, and I knew his sons. I saw his sons around, all Kohanim. Fast forward. So there I am in the state of Israel with my dear son, Noach. Before I left, now we all know, if you listen to your wife most of the time, you stay out of trouble. Now, I'm not going to make a comparison. What keeps you out of more trouble? Listening to your mother or listening to your wife? Who can catch you in a lie better? That we'd be here a long time with that. Oh, I see guilt creeping in right away. But as far as I go, most of the time, if I don't listen to Mrs. Karp, I'm going to get in trouble. And I did. My wife asked me 3 times before I packed to go to Eretz Yisrael, are you going to take your allopurinol? Are you going to take your gout medicine? Those of you who are into homeopathic are going to say, Karp, why don't you try cherry juice? Can I mention homeopathic around you?
I went to Hahnemann. That's
doesn't bother
home of homeopathy.
Okay, fine. I'm just checking. I don't want to offend anybody.
It's still ridiculous, but that's
all right. I'm just checking out of respect. So I told my wife I haven't had an attack in a long time. I'm going to be fine. My wife says you're going to Israel. They don't have Rite Aid over there. All right, and the doctor's not there. It could be a little. So chayk, it'll be okay. I haven't had a problem in a long time. You know, King Shlomo has a sentence in Proverbs. Chochmas nashim bansa beisa. The wisdom of the women builds the house. It means a lot of things, and it's not talking about bricks. And then this other Gemara, where the Gemara lists the number of things the average wife does, and the Gemara says, wow, she keeps him standing on his feet. Okay, which is a bracha. My Rebbe, Rabbi Chaim Press, when we became engaged, he pulled me aside and he said, Tzvi, you picked the right girl. I can tell. Because your head is here, your head is there. Chaiki, she's got 2 feet on the ground. You'll never have 2 feet on the ground, but at least you'll have the string from the kite to hold on to you. So it was right. So I didn't listen to my wife, so what happens? On the airplane, I have red meat. Now, you don't have to know as much as Dr. Crimmins to know that if you have a gout condition, you stay away from too much wine, too much red meat, and don't ever eat chopped liver at a shul kiddush, because then you're doomed. No matter how good it tastes. A little Baltimore history. I used to eat a lot of Shiur Liebes's liver, a famous liver in Baltimore. Somebody bought the recipe. It was so good. It's not worth a gout attack, even if you know what it is, or if you even half know what it is. On the airplane, Air Canada, so I had red meat. I get to my sister-in-law who lives in the Jewish quarter, red meat. The 3rd night I had red meat, I was thinking, should I eat it, should I not eat it? My wife wasn't there, so I ate it. That's 3 nights of red meat in a row. Thursday night, I got the twinge. That strange feeling in the big toe. Mm-hmm. But you figure, I'm in Israel, I'm walking more than I walk at home. It must be the walking. Mm-hmm. No. I wake up, now Thursday night, my sister-in-law said, Tzvi, we're going to send you on one of the best things you can do in Jerusalem. You're going to go on the tunnel tour with Rabbi Barnea Sullivan, or Rabbi Barnea Levi Sullivan is originally from Detroit. I went to Yeshiva with him. He takes you on a double tour. He takes you to the south wall, not where the western wall is, where the southern wall is, and it's very breathtaking because they still have the steps from the second temple that were actually used to march up to go to the Beit HaMikdash, to the temple, and they still have, it's bricked up, but the actual entrance into the temple is still there. It's bricked up. You have to be careful, because if you look to your left, I don't know if it's the Al-Aqsa Mosque, but there's a mosque up there with a green light, and there are always people looking at you. So you're enjoying the view from the Jewish point of view, but you have to realize that there are some Muslims watching what you're doing up there. If I'm not mistaken, they're the same Muslims who wake you up 3 o'clock in the morning. I learned that my first night in Israel. 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe it was 2 times, I Aunt Selma, what is that? We're under attack. Call my nephew. See? Get used to it. This is Israel. The Arabs daven more than we do. probably to the same God, not for the same thing, but they're going to wake you up once or two times a night. Tzvi, get used to it.
When I was in service, one time, we are stuck for punishment for 2 weeks because our soldiers were sick and tired to hear this 3 in the morning, the muazzin. So in those days, one of the soldiers climbed over the fence and opened the mosques, a room that they have the recorder, and replaced the cassette with Mordechai ben David. And then 3 in the morning, we wake up and you hear, oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
You didn't make a war on this?
So they made a special committee, and nobody said who did what, and they made the whole unit stay for 2 weeks. Nobody allowed to leave the arm.
No, the Reisblum, it's Achrei HaMaisa. Was it you?
No.
Call his wife. Find out. Gosh. Well, anyway, my sister-in-law says, Tzvi, you got to go on this tour. He'll give you a tour of the South Wall. Archaeologists have dug up old mikvahs. Very, very interesting. And then he takes you on the tunnel tour. On the left side of the Kotel HaMaravi, they take you where the archaeologists dug, and they show you caverns. They let you view down for many years ago where the road leading to the Kotel used to be. It's breathtaking. And they take you to the spot right opposite where the original ark was, the Kodesh HaKodashim. People down there, it's meaningful, and they take you down, you see cisterns, and they take you all the way down, and you see an underground pool, and they say the tour stops here because over there is Muslim territory, and it's Friday, and we don't go there on Friday. And Rabbi Sullivan is a veteran of the IDF. Sometimes on Shabbos you will see him carrying a rifle when he does his, what's the right word? Mishmar Miluim. If he has duty on Shabbos, what's that called?
Exactly the way you said.
Okay, I don't want to mess up too much. So anyway, my sister-in-law says you'll go on the tour. As the night progressed, the gout got worse and worse and worse. By the time I woke up in the morning, just in case you don't know how gout feels, if somebody would take a hammer and hit the joint of your big toe hard, that's what it feels like. Do I have any fellow sufferers? Okay, if you ever want to borrow $100, call me. I'll lend it to you because we're brothers. We're blood brothers.
Well, the way I describe the pain is you can just lay a sheet over that big toe, and that's enough to make the pain unbearable.
Oh, you get it worse than me. All right, you got me beat. All right, and the doctor can explain to you about purinol levels and all that. It still hurts. Okay. Now, the medicine to heal it, now you have to correct me. In those days, it was colchicine. Anyone knows that's still what you take?
That's right. It's a derivative of saffron. Very effective.
Okay, so there's one problem. If you have colchicine, it's great, but you can't leave where you are. Because now you're eating, so I'm going to be nice to you, but I'll just say colchicine is a wonder drug. God bless the scientists that discover it. But what it does is it shoots a lot of things out of your system, and it cleans out whatever the imbalance is, and you can feel it working, but you can't go too
away
far.
From the bathroom.
Yes, thank you, David. You can't. But I didn't have any. And it got worse and worse and worse. I said to my sister-in-law, Selma, I'm not going on the tour. I'm not going on the tour. And she said, Tzvi, what did you spend all this money to come to Israel with your child for? You're in Israel. You have to force yourself to enjoy it. You're going to be sorry. You must enjoy Israel. So she's giving this American boy a lesson. She's more American than I am, but Selma already knew already. She's really neat. My sister-in-law, she's been in Israel a long time. She speaks Hebrew with a very American accent. It's really cool. But anyway, she says, you're going. All right, fine. Instead of my wife's older sister, you usually don't win that. So I went, and I was limping the whole time. But, I don't want to ruin it for my kid. My son, Noach, is leading me along. It's like some of those stories with the leper or the blind man, and the child's leading him along, and I'm schlepping my foot. So we get to meet for the tour. Everybody gives in their check, and I see Dr. and Mrs. Ribbick over there. So it was nice to see someone from Baltimore. So we start the tour, and I'm schlepping my foot, and I'm listening to the tour guide, and I'm in increasing pain. Then So we went to see these mikvaos, which are amazing. If you get a tour of the mikvahs near the Kotel, they will point out to you there is an up and down staircase because they want to keep a separation for those who are spiritually unclean tamei from bumping into those who are already clean from dunking in the mikvah. So they show you in ancient times they built the mikvah in such a way the staircases are set up to avoid any problems, and it's just absolutely wondrous. So then we went under a doorpost heading towards the southern steps, which are very exciting unless you have gout. I was limping. Dr. Ribico turns around and says, "What's wrong?" So I wanted to say, "You are a dentist. This is gout. You can't do anything for me." But you got to be polite. I said, "Don't worry, doctor." He goes, No. Please tell me what's wrong." So I'm figuring out, Dr. Ribico, you're a dentist. What are you going to do to me? You going to drill my toe? What are you going to do to me? I said, "Dr. Ribico, I have gout." He says, "I can help you." Oh my God. No. Doctor, it's okay. He pulls me aside. He says, "Tzvi, I am a fellow sufferer. I have the medication. After this tour, I want you to come to where I'm renting in Rechavia, and I'm going to take care of you." So I said, "You're kidding. You need the medicine yourself." He goes, "I'm not taking no for an answer. You're here in Israel. You must enjoy Israel. You're far away from your doctor and your pharmacy. You come to my place, please." All right, so I figure what's going to happen. So I'm going to go to his place. He'll give me a pill for a day. I'll make it through Shabbos, and, fine. All right. I finished the tour. I was in excruciating pain. I took his address, and you're going to see how American has to learn about Israel. I took Dr. Ribico's address. We finished the tour, a lovely, lovely tour. I get home, and not with a whole lot of hope, I told my sister, I ran into the Ribicos in Baltimore. He gave me his thing, Rechavia 3, whatever it is, and all right. So I got to go on the bus. All right. So I figure, okay, so I'll have a nice Shabbos, but the rest of the time is going to be horrible. All right, but you already got to thank God for whatever. Now remember, I mentioned the other time, when you pray in Annapolis or Baltimore, maybe you'll get answered, maybe you won't. Maybe it'll take a year, maybe it'll take a few months. But in America, you get answered, but it takes a little while. In Israel, when you pray or you cry out in pain, you may get answered faster. And boy, did I find that out.
It's not long distance?
What?
Because it's not long distance?
That sounds good to me. Right. The prayer is right. You're right there. Right. So I got the address. I get on a bus. Now I'm an American on a bus. What do Americans know about buses? I drive a car. So I'm thinking, I got to go on the bus and get at the right place. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to get off. And I have the address, but I don't know what it is. So most Israelis on the buses are very, very nice. Now I can take a shot at Baltimore. Have you ever done heavy-duty shopping in certain parts of Baltimore? People don't know how to talk. Like you get, I don't know how much you've been in Baltimore, but depending where you go, but sometimes in Baltimore, just communication is a little bit of a problem over there. In Israel, most people are nice on the buses. So they made sure I got off at the right place. So I get off, and I'm limping along, and I realize that I didn't get the whole address, or the addresses are not the way it is in America. Of course, nothing is worse than Queens. If you ever try to get somewhere in Queens, those are crazy addresses. Don't even try. But anyway, 124th, 70, forget about it. But this, I realized I didn't have the whole address. So now here I am. I can't walk very far because my foot is messed up, and I didn't have my wonderful son with me this time to save me. Just Rechavia 3, and I'm walking there, and I'm figuring, what am I going to do? I'm going to find a building, but it doesn't say the apartment number. So with my saklapta fuss, I'm going to have to go to every single thing, and it won't say Ribico on the apartment because he's an American that's renting. So this means I have to go and knock on every single door and ask if Ribico's staying there because I didn't have the full address, and it doesn't say Ribico on the door because he's renting from somebody else. I didn't know if I was going to find the right building, so I'm going down the feeling and I'm thinking, Israel, European country, get me out of here, get me back to good old American apple pie and Chevrolet and Baltimore Orioles and all that, and people speaking regular, and there's too many cigarettes, everything negative you could think I was thinking. And I passed the Dunkin' Donuts there, which I had been informed by several Americans. They don't taste like the ones near us. So I'm getting all worried. What am I going to do? A kid comes flying out of the Dunkin' Donuts. Rabbi Karp! The boy's name was David Ribico. He was Dr. Ribico's grandson. He says, my grandparents been waiting for you. Let me take you right to the apartment. Boom! In America, I never got something answered that fast. This is perfect. The kid's grandson comes flying out of the Dunkin' Donuts.
Angel from heaven.
Yeah. I mean, now he's married to twins in Israel. David comes out and he says, see, people named David always do good things. Did you notice that? Something about the name David, you understand? So he comes out, but it was frightening because first God answers my prayer quick. I didn't even ask God. I just felt the pain. You know that many commentaries say sometimes if you don't pray, but you go, oh, you wail in pain like the Jews in Egypt, God hears that too. Certainly hears it in Israel. So I got a man, I got a dentist with the medicine and this and that, and then I don't know where I'm going, and the grandson comes out. Takes me upstairs, and first I saw his wife. So I said to the wife, Dr. Ribico wasn't 100% that day. First the wife was going to go up with me to the apartment with David. Dr. Ribico said, no, I want to do this myself. So his wife said, but you don't feel so good today. I know where your medication is. He says, honey, I know you know where my meds are, but I want to take care of Karp. I have to do it a certain way. He says, okay, what's going on with me? They take me up to the apartment. Dr. Ribico sits down, and he says, how much longer are you staying in Israel? So I'm thinking, what was he asking me this for? I just need a pill or two to make it through Shabbos and shine. So I told him. He opens up the bottle, and he counts out enough medication for a week and a half, and then he adds a bunch more till you get back to I get back to America, and he's just lining up these little orange pills. And I said, Dr. Ribico, you don't have to do that. This costs money. And he gave me enough meds. He goes, I know what you're feeling. He gave me enough meds for the rest of the trip, just in case I lose some, for the plane, back in America to get the prescription. And I said, but I have to give you something after. He says, forget about it. Just forget about it. He says, when someone comes, and this is what he told me, when you come to Israel, you have to enjoy it. It's a Jew's land, it's Hashem's land, and I don't want this trip to be marred for you in any way. It's worth everything to me to share with you my medication. He says, don't worry about me, I'll be fine. I have my ways. And he just stood there. And this is why he didn't want his wife to do it, because his wife was sitting there. His wife was shocked, because she also figured to give me 2-3 pills, make it through Shabbos Sunday. His wife was shocked. And he just counted and counted and counted and counted and counted. And he gave me a vial to take it back with. And he says, if you have any more problems, call me. Because it's very, very important to enjoy Israel and to leave with a positive attitude. So that's why I want to help you. Of course, being a fellow Baltimorean helped. The man saved my trip to Israel, and the problem went away. And when I came back to America, I made sure to thank him to buy his wife flowers for Shabbos. But he didn't make a big deal out of it. But he just made it very, very clear to me that even if it would, cost him something or mess him up a little bit, that not only does he have to have a perfect Israel experience, he wanted that I should have one too, and the whole family, and there shouldn't be anything to kvetch about at all, even though this wasn't the state of Israel's fault. But I learned a very big lesson from that. The Jordan story is long, I'll tell you another time, but the lesson that this dentist was teaching me, that it is home, it's not perfect, it's not going to be perfect for a while, and part of the reason that Israel's not perfect in this fighting is, as we all know, if you're in a snowstorm and you're locked up with all your brothers and sisters, because you're so close, you're going to have a good time, and you may have some arguments, because that's the way it is when you're cooped up with your brothers and sisters. But it is home, and it is family, and that's what Israel is supposed to be. But he just taught me, at all costs, whatever it takes, always make sure to give a positive view and do whatever you can to love the state of Israel. If it's not perfect, come back tomorrow. It's perfect in 900 other ways. So I'll give everyone a bracha that next time we should merit to be able to be in Israel without gout. Dr. Ribiko is already in the world to come, but his he has some children, grandchildren there, and we should merit being able to study there under Rabbi Weisblum's guidance to go to all the right places, and we should be able to have the meat we want with no problem. So I hope we get that soon. May the month bring us lots of good.
Amen.
Amen.
Take me home.
la la la